Welcome to the Game Changer podcast. Today's topic, why human beings avoid doing what's required. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Top of the morning, welcome back. This is the Game Changer podcast with Setema Gali. You guys better get your minds right and get up and let's go. See, it's more than the game that we changing.
What's up, my friends? Great to have you here. Thank you so much for listening. I love that you're here sharing this moment with me, right? Listening to the Game Changer podcast, choosing, right, to alter your trajectory, choosing, right, to stop and break the chains of generational curses that go back far beyond what you can even remember from maybe your great-grandparents, your great-great-grandparents. That's why you're here, becoming a game changer, choosing to change the game physically, spiritually, relationally, and financially. All right, let's just talk about this real quick. So I was having a conversation with one of my business partners, and great conversation. She's amazing. She's powerful. She's inspired. She got this vision. And we were talking about this concept of core action versus surface confusion, right? Everyone just like core action versus surface confusion. And what that means is most people live on the surface confusion side. You know, it's like they just do all kinds of busy work. They avoid doing what's required. They avoid doing the hard, necessary, required actions. And instead, they do busy work, right? They sharpen pencils. They go to the Office Depot. They surf social media. They click, 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 squirrel. Click, 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 click. Read something, 2 minutes, squirrel. And they just get pulled off track by the dragons and distractions and the demons of distractions. And I was just having this conversation with her like, listen, all that matters today is core actions. And she was like, absolutely 100%. And here's our core actions. And so we're going back and forth about what we needed to do. And this thought came into my mind. I was like, you know why most people avoid core actions? Because it's hard. Now just stay with me. I know the self-help gurus, nothing's hard. I don't have to. I get to. I get all that talk. But just stay with me for a moment here. Doing what's required, aka core actions, it's tough. This is why most people avoid it. This is why most people would rather do anything other than the core action. You see, core action, aka necessary required actions, it leads us closer to the prize. It leads you closer to what you want. So let me just go back to an example here. In my door-to-door days with the orange juggernaut called Vivint, I spent 2011, 2012, and 2013 knocking doors. Knock, knock, knock. Selling, recruiting, door-to-door from Georgia, Greenville, South Carolina, Iowa, Austin, Texas. And you know, like, it's crazy to me. I would recruit these guys, or one of my other team leads would recruit a guy. They'd show up, right? So they'd go from either Idaho or Utah, Arizona. They'd come all the way to Texas. They'd unpack their stuff. They'd get into the apartment. And core action meant you get out of your car, you approach the door, and you knock. And you prospect, and you knock, and you walk, and you talk, and you close. You knock, you walk, you talk, and you close. That's it. And while you're knocking, walking, talking, and closing, you're getting better. And you're adapting and adjusting. And you're overcoming objections, right? That was the game. That's core action. So it blew my mind why someone would sit in a gas station. Like someone would sit down on the curb. Why someone would sit there and look at their cell phone. I couldn't understand it. And I'm like, what are you doing? And they'd say something like, well, I mean, you know, it's just hard. I'm like, but you're here. Like you're literally here in Texas. There's nothing else to do. The only thing that matters are the core actions. And if you're in business, core actions are what we would call RPA, revenue producing activities, right? So we can get the RTM, results that matter. Right? RPA, revenue producing activities, that you can get the RTM, results that matter. But the reason they wouldn't do it, because it's hard. It's tough to get rejected at their doors. It's tough to go door to 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 door and have people say, no, get out of my face. No, no, thank you. And all of a sudden, if you're not mentally strong, you will find yourself doing what we call hide behind activities. A hide behind is like, hey, it looks like it's required, but I'm going to hide behind this busy work So it looks like, and it gives me the feeling like I'm doing what's required. All the while, I'm not doing what's required. And this is what I was talking about with my partner. Like, core actions are tough. You understand? Like, core action leads you to a higher level of core action, which leads you to a higher level of core action. In other words, what's required to knock, talk, and sell and close? Well, you got to practice, study, role play. You got to read, write, practice, study, role play. You got to read, you got to write, you got to listen, you got to study, you got to role play, practice, get course corrected, criticize, role play, and do it again. So I would do this. And that's all I did all summer. Other guys would avoid role play. You know why they would avoid role play? Because it's embarrassing and it's tough and it's difficult. You know, if you take a look at your world right now, what is the core action that you are avoiding today? And that core action or core actions, necessary required actions, are based upon the prize that you desire to have. You see, for the last 10 years, I've been on a mission. I've been on a mission to liberate men and women, to help people become game changers, to eradicate scarcity, to build wealth, create memories, and expand their legacies, to develop skill sets, mindsets, tool sets in alignment with heart and soul set. Everything that I do is in alignment with whatever's required. And I know this for a fact. It's hard. It's tough. It's challenging. And it is difficult. This is why most people avoid it. Just take a look at your physical body. What are the core actions if you want to be fit and lean and healthy? Weightlifting, resistance training, some type of mobility training, making sure you're eating the right amount of proteins, aka what we call your macros, proteins, fats, carbs, right? That's what's required. Then you got to hit the Stairmaster and or walk and do cardio. Then you got to stop eating stuff in your face with cheesecake. I mean, core actions is like the real deal, yet most people won't do it because it's tough financially. You have a business, you have a job. For most businesses, listen, the core action is marketing sales. For most businesses, market, sell, market, close, market, advertise, promote, get on the phone, have a conversation, boom, close them. Take their credit card, take their money, get the wire. But you know what most people don't want to do? They don't want to have that conversation because it's tough. Listen, if you just knew, like, big point here, if you knew how difficult and daunting and challenging it was to complete the necessary required actions, you'd stop messing around. You'd stop wasting time on surface confusion. You would stop letting squirrel! You'd stop letting the squirrels get you. And you'd focus in and you'd reset about every 45 minutes. Like, you would just do the work, because to get to the top of the mountain where the prize is, to get that body that you want to be fit, to have that connection with your spouse or your children, your loved ones, to develop a deeper sense of belonging and a faith and a connection to God, to have a body that's healthy and strong, and of course to have a bank account that is overflowing and that is abundant. It requires you to actually know what's required and then to execute, get that stuff done. So here's my challenge to you. Take a look at your life right now. Take a look at your physicality, your spirituality, your relationships, and your finances. Take a good look at your entire world. And just ask yourself this question: what is the one core action that I have been avoiding? What is it? I mean, the easy one for a lot of people is like, well, you got some leads. Why don't you call the leads? Well, I got a lot of other stuff to do. No. RPA, revenue producing activity. That's your core action. If you're a door-to-door salesman, obviously you're knocking on doors, walking, talking, knocking, closing. That's the game. If you are a coach, your job is to have powerful conversations to enroll. If you are a marketer, you are putting out social media content. You're building a platform on one of the contents, whether it's Instagram or LinkedIn or Facebook. Right? If you're a marketer, you're putting marketing messages out. If you are a bodybuilder, you're lifting weights and eating. Like, that's the game. If you're a missionary for your church, studying the Word of God, you're praying, you're having conversations with people, you're serving people. Do not hide behind what we call hide behind activities. Stop sawing sawdust, which means you just keep wasting time. Go do what's required, my friends. Go do what's required today. Go do the core actions today. And one of the easiest ways to do that, every single day when you wake up, write down a list of 5 things that are your core actions that you got to do. Knock them out. When you're done with that, you're done. And then if you want to take it to another step, on Sunday before the week starts, look at the entire week. Look at the next benchmark ahead of you and figure out what's required this week to get that. Organize and strategically place items where they belong, and then go GSD, get stuff done, AKA execute. The RPA, revenue producing activity, so that you can get RTM, results that matter. Hey guys, if the podcast resonates, if it touches your heart and soul, and it gives you greater vision and clarity to go build the life you want, so you can make a difference inside of your world, your family's world, and the community itself, All I ask that you do is share the podcast forward. We don't run ads, we don't have sponsors, but we can make a difference and help people become game changers for their lives, for their families, if we share the message. So share this with somebody who needs to hear it and have an amazing day. My friends, I appreciate you listening to the podcast. Go do the core actions. Live inside of core actions and avoid surface confusion. Just kidding. Have a great day, my friends. Thank you so much for listening. God bless you. Let's rise and let's go.
Let's go. See, it's more than the game that we changing. We don't do it for the block, do it for the name. Yeah. No, there ain't no stopping it. If you really want it, better rock with it. This is how to be a game changer. Better put your pride down, heavy, get your pen up. Wanna be the greatest, we ain't stopping till we win, yo. This is how to make it when they hating, we ain't worried what they saying. This is how to be a game changer.